Hey, imagine you're at a friend's house party and the host proudly pulls out a sleek bottle from a glass door fridge, only to discover that the wine is a little too warm and the other guests are eyeing the cheap wine cooler in the corner. It's that tiny moment of should I have invested a bit more that makes anyone pause before buying a wine refrigerator. I've been through that hesitation myself, scrolling through endless specs, trying to figure out if a 90-bottle unit is really worth the space, the price, and the noise level in a small apartment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's break down the C'Lefort Dual Zone Wine Fridge and see whether it's the right fit for you before you commit your hard-earned cash. First off, the biggest question most people ask is, do I really need 2 temperature zones? If you're a casual drinker who mostly keeps reds and whites at the same temperature, the dual zone might feel like overkill. The fridge lets you dial one zone to 40°F for reds that benefit from a little warmth, and the other down to 65°F for whites and sparkling wines that prefer a cooler environment. In real-world terms, that means you could store a bottle of Pinot Noir at 55°F while keeping a champagne chilled at 45°F, all in the same cabinet. For a serious collector with a mix of vintages, that flexibility is a genuine value add. If you only ever sip a single varietal, a single-zone cooler would likely save you both space and money. Space is another practical concern. The unit measures 24 inches tall, which fits comfortably under most kitchen countertops but still demands a dedicated footprint. At 9.72 cuffed, it can hold roughly 90 standard bottles, but the actual arrangement depends on your bottle shapes. Tall, broad-bodied bottles like a Bordeaux or a Cabernet will occupy more vertical space, while slimmer bottles fit snugly on the adjustable racks. The adjustable shelves glide on smooth glide rails, so you can reconfigure them without wrestling with a heavy front panel. If you have a small bar or a modest kitchen island, the fridge will sit flush against a wall, but you'll need at least a few inches of clearance on the sides for ventilation, something the manual stresses but many shoppers overlook until they receive the unit. Noise is a frequent gripe with wine refrigerators, especially when the unit sits near a living room TV or a bedroom door. C'Lefort uses an inverter compressor, which, according to the manufacturer, reduces the typical humming you hear from older models. In my own testing, the fridge settled into a lower that's barely audible after the first hour of operation. It's not completely silent, but it's quieter than the 4050 dB range you'd hear from a standard mini fridge. If you're an audiophile or keep the unit in an open lounge area, you might still notice the faint vibration during very quiet moments, but it won't dominate the room like a kitchen appliance would. Let's talk temperature consistency. One of the subtle but important challenges with dual-zone cooling is how quickly each zone stabilizes after you open the door or add a warm bottle. The inverter compressor works harder when the door is opened, but thanks to double-glazed stainless steel doors equipped with UV protection, heat gain is minimal. In practice, you'll notice the temperature in each zone dropping back to the set point within 3,045 minutes after a short door opening. That's fast enough for most home users, though if you're a professional sommelier who needs instant temperature precision across multiple zones, a commercial-grade unit might be a better match. One of the strengths that often goes unmentioned is the built-in LED lighting. The 3 LEDs are positioned to illuminate each bottle without creating hot spots that could affect the wine's aging process. The light is bright enough for a quick visual check, yet it's soft enough not to damage delicate grapes. For people who like to showcase their collection during dinner parties, the glass door combined with the LED strips creates an attractive focal point that feels more like a piece of furniture than a cold storage box. Now, a few practical weaknesses to keep in mind. The fridge relies on a standard 120V outlet, which is convenient for most homes, but it does draw about 150 W on average. Over a year, that's roughly 1.3 kilowatt-hours of electricity, a modest cost, but something eco-conscious buyers might track. The unit doesn't come with a built-in lock, so if you have children or pets that might tamper with the door, you'll need to invest in an external lock or keep the fridge in a restricted area. Also, while the double-glazed door offers UV protection, it isn't a full light-proof barrier, prolonged exposure to direct sunlight through a nearby window can still cause some fade over many years. Positioning the fridge away from a sunny wall is a simple fix. Who should buy this? If you're an avid wine enthusiast with a growing collection that spans reds, whites, and sparkling, the dual-zone feature literally lets you separate your bottles by serving temperature without buying two separate units.